Okay, here we go with your first flip lesson. Normally you'll be doing this for homework, but of course right now we're watching this right here in class. Alright, what you need to write on the top of your page is Unit 1, Lesson 1. Alright, you also need to write the title of the section, which is going to be Integers and Absolute Values. Okay, the next thing you're going to write is the objective. Okay, this statement is something you should be able to make at the end of today's lesson. Alright, then you should be able to say, I can find the absolute value of a number and use a number line to compare integers. Okay, so next thing we're going to have you write down are your key terms. In some sections there's quite a few, like today. In others there may only be one or two, okay, or even none in some cases. Alright, but today there's a few of them. So we have integers. That refers to any whole number, positive or negative. Okay, some examples might be -6, 8, 0, and so on. Okay, no decimals, no fractions. Absolute value, that's the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. Notice over here that this is always going to be positive. Okay, and then the big one, the thing that sometimes people confuse, alright, and we battle with throughout the year, is an expression is a mathematical statement without an equal sign. Whereas an equation is a mathematical statement with an equal sign. Alright? Alright, moving on to our examples. Now when it comes to the examples, you don't need to write down all of the directions. Quite simply, for example 1, you can just write graph. Okay? So you see our directions though say graph each of the following numbers on a number line, then write the orders from least to greatest. Alright? So, typical number line, we have 0 in the middle, negative numbers are to the left, positive numbers are to the right. And as we go from left to right, the numbers get bigger. Okay? So when we talk about least to greatest, we would start on the left and read to the right. Alright, so let's place our numbers on this number line. We have -5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We place a dot and we write the number. 0, of course, is right in the middle. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have -6, which is one past there. Put my dot. I have a 1, and then 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so there's the numbers on the number line. Okay, and in order from least to greatest, we would say -6, -5, 0, 1, 4, and 7. Now, chances are you didn't need to do a number line in order to put those numbers from smallest to largest. Alright, but again, that's kind of how the number line works. Alright, from smallest to largest as you read it. Example 2, we're asked to write an integer to represent each quantity. Okay, so if you're in an elevator and you want to go to the 5th floor, should be a TH there. Alright, an elevator takes you to the 5th floor. You're going up. Up is a positive number. Alright, we would call that +5. And really the positive you don't need to write, but we'll put it down right now. The scuba diver is 40 feet underwater. Under is the same as down. Down is negative. We would consider that number to be -40. Okay? Example 3. Simplify. Alright, easy enough. We have the absolute value of -5. The absolute value of -5 is +5 because if we look at a number line, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's -5. Absolute value refers to the distance a number is from 0. So if I count to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see that I have +5 units. Distance is always positive. Looking at B, now we have a negative sign in front of the absolute value sign. So we would read this as -1 times the absolute value of 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5 for the same reason over here. If I put my number line here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 is obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units away from 0. So -5 and +5 give you the same result. The only difference is for B, don't forget we need to multiply that thing by -1. And -1 times 5 is -5. Okay. Now, example C, we have the opposite of 6. Sometimes people think absolute value is opposite, and that's not true. Absolute value is a distance measurement, which is always positive. So when we see the opposite of 6, we're talking about negative 6. Okay? That's really what negative means. It's the opposite of. Alright? As we read it. So, moving on to example 4. We're asked to compare using greater than. That symbol means greater than. Less than, and that symbol means less than. Or equal to. Alright? So when I look at these two numbers, obviously 70 is greater than negative 1. Alright, so we put our red symbol in there for greater than. Alright? Looking at B, okay, you may think, well, this is less than because negative 5 and 3 is bigger. However, you have to do the absolute value of negative 5, which we already said in the previous example, you can still see it over there, is positive 5. So I'm comparing 5 and 3, and once again, we're greater than it. Okay, and finally, the last one, I have the absolute value of 6. The absolute value of 6 is still 6, and we're comparing that to negative 2, and once again, we have greater than. Alright? Okay, so let's move on. Last thing you have to do, and you don't have to write this stuff down, okay? All you need to do at the end of every video is answer this question, or fill in the blank, basically. After watching this video, I can. Well, what can you do now that you've watched the video? Can you find absolute values? You would then write, I can find absolute values. Alright, or I can compare integers and whole numbers and absolute values. If there's still something you don't know, what you're going to do is 2 parts. If you don't know how to do something like, I don't know how to find absolute values, the next thing you have to do is write down, it says circle, you're actually going to write, alright, which one of these things you're going to do to learn that. Because if you don't know how to do it, you got to do something else to figure it out. Either rewatch the video, ask a friend, come to class with a question, go to Math Resource Center, you could do a Google search on the topic, you could do something else like ask a parent, a brother, or whatever. Alright? See you tomorrow in class.